Hey, how's it going? I'm super excited about today's live stream. Um, Let me get my webcam activated. Okay, perfect. All right, let me know who's in chat. I'm going to send a quick message out on Discord to let everyone know we're officially live. If you're in chat, let me know. Say hello. I'd love to hear from you and hear how your week is going. Okay. Hello, Ethan. Two Ethans, both great friends. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming. So today we're going to talk about some of the core features of North Commerce, and then as we start to finalize these core features, what is sort of the next priority. So I have a few ideas of what that could be, but for those who are actually using North Commerce and or planning to use North Commerce in the next few months for client sites or their own stores or whatever, what are the requirements for those stores that we could support you on so that you could have a successful time building those stores? So I will. I think we'll kind of get right into it in just a minute. I'm going to wait for a few more people to join. Getting some emails here. I sent an email out. So if you're on the email list, what I'm sure most of you are, I just switched to a new email service provider, and I think I'm still working out the kinks in that. So if you guys, if there's some weird emails coming your way where like some links don't work or something, I'm fixing it right now. So just an FYI. Okay. So I remember a while ago, I think this was like maybe before I even first launched officially like the North Commerce Alpha in December of 2021. I was on the WP Builds podcast, and one of the questions I was asked was like, what are your plans for North Commerce? There's a lot you could do here. Hello, Sam. Always some good kinks, Let me double check. Can you guys hear my audio okay? Let me see if I can move this. I'm getting some messages in Discord saying the audio is a little quiet. Okay. Let me know if that sounds any better, and I'll talk a little bit louder. But basically, my mount for my microphone, it broke, so now it doesn't mount on my desk and like go right in front of my face. So it's a little funny. It's a little lower than normal. So if I'm quiet, just let me know and I'll fix it and we'll be all good. So when I was on the WP Builds podcast, we were talking about what can we do? There's so many things that you can do within WordPress, that there's so many different use cases on with different countries, wanting different feature sets or different payment providers or shipping methods, all sorts of different edge cases based on countries too. And so that's kind of what I want this discussion to be. I think that there's fundamental things that North Commerce will have and should have, things that I go over here on the website as well, like single page checkout forms, order bumps, specific integrations with popular apps, and then carriers, and then builder tools like blocks with block editor, blocks for your favorite page builder like Beaver or Bricks or whatever, and then like coupons and printing shipping labels and sending out emails and shipping profiles, and all those things are kind of like the fundamental things. And then we have discussions inside of Discord or inside or via email. I'm hearing about different projects that are coming up for people, and they have like these specific use cases. So one of those was like, so I sent an email out probably, I think it was beginning of last week, about anyone who's interested in building a production ready store with North Commerce. Like, let me know, let me learn about what you want to build, and then me and the North team can support you doing that. We want you to, make an easier experience for clients, or maybe it's your own personal store. And one person that came to us was an agency, and they are building a store for, or they're talking to a store that needs a rebuild. And one of the features that they have is incremental quantities. And so right now with North Commerce, if you want to, I'll show a preview. Like if you want to go to a product and let's say, you want to buy more than one, all you would do is you would, select the variant you want, and then you would just increase the quantity by one. So if you want this variety pack and you want 5 of the 12 packs, then all you would do is toggle up and buy 5. Pretty standard. But there's certain products that this particular company sells that where you would want to increment by 4 or 6 or 8 or 12. And so instead of going up by 1 and saying, 1, but I really need 6, so I'm going to click 6. Well, I really need 12 because like this product is specifically sold in like blocks of that many for whatever reason. It's like a wholesaler type thing. And so instead of going up by 1, this client would need it to go up by 4 or 8 or 12 or some custom amount, and sometimes just 1. So sometimes just standard increments. And so there's these funny little use cases that come up with specific clients where they'll use all of North's core features, and those will be great for them. But then there's these little tiny edge cases for specific brands and companies that where they would need. And the cool thing about how we've implemented North is that like there's a lot of freedom to adapt to these types of things without having to like build a custom plugin and then have another plugin to install. Like, okay, so like incremental quantities could be an advanced product feature that you could toggle on or off in the settings. And then if you want that, then you would set the value inside of the product like create area, and then that specific product would have that custom increment. And so that's kind of what I want this discussion to be, is like so that's a super specific example, but that's what I want to hear, is those super kind of things that those super specific kind of edge cases that I would never think about unless someone specific needs it. And sometimes we'll accommodate that and sometimes we won't. It'll depend, but that's what I want today to be about, is figuring out what would be the next steps, or what should be the next priorities for North Commerce as we finish off these core features and then move forward. So if you guys have any specific use cases or examples or requests even, then I'd love to hear those. So if anyone's in chat, let me know. If not, I can move on with some of my own examples. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move on. But feel free to interrupt. I'm not, I'm just going to kind of go over things. But if you have comments or questions or whatever, then just send them in the chat and we can get started. All right, I can answer your questions. So some of these things that I see in the e-commerce space, when it comes to like optimizing your store or making more money, is a lot less about specific features and more about specific freedoms you could have inside of your own like page builder or editor. So when it comes to some other solutions like Shopify, you have you have beautifully designed themes, and those are wonderful and great, and a lot of times those are just like monolithic, where you might have you might be able to customize the product page, but sort of the customizations you're able to do inside of that specific theme is like, I have my title, I have my price, and I have like maybe my options and my add to cart, all as individual blocks. And then I'm basically able to move those, in a different order that they're laid out. I don't have the freedom to drag and drop them to a separate area, another area, or in a different column or whatever. It's like sort of like semi-monolithic. Like where this particular block is kind of where I kind of have to stick around. I can change the order and that's wonderful, But the reality is like I'm kind of stuck with like these items being in this column and then these items being in this column. And if I'm lucky, then the theme developer maybe like made it so I can, like delete this block from this column, but then I have another, then I can add another title, product title in this column and maybe get the look I want or something. And so you're kind of stuck into this like monolithic theme. And for starters, there's nothing wrong with that. But the great benefit of the block editor coming out and the iterations that we're seeing in like this new 6.3 release even is that like without much effort directly out of the box, North Commerce will be like fully customizable everywhere. And so, of course, we're still going to release things in phases, so we don't take another year to finish something. We might even release monolithic stuff to start with. But when it comes to Gutenberg, it's like, oh, okay, well, all the heavy lifting is done for us with Gutenberg or the block editor. I'll probably start calling it the block editor now. It's a habit to call it Gutenberg. And then we have a ton of freedom to start building full stores with the block editor or other block based theme builders. One I'll show you is, let me show you this really quick. So there's this really great CRO company called It's Audit, and I'll just show you their Twitter really quick. And you'll see like they have a lot of really great examples of like optimizing hero areas, product pages, and all sorts of things, navigation. And so it's like, okay, awesome, this is wonderful. So you can get tons of inspiration from different CRO companies. There's tons of them on Twitter, and you can kind of see what you like, and I can even recommend some if you like. But you start scrolling through here, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. So this is interesting. So like, I maybe my product page looks a little like this, and here's some great ideas of how I can optimize this. Maybe I want to add like a free product and emphasize that more. Maybe I need to update my navigation or whatever. So you get all sorts of ideas, right? And right now with most platforms, if not every other platform out available now, you are going to either have to pay for another service, like another page builder service that's compatible with that platform, or which starts at like $99 a month typically, and then you can maybe build these out, and maybe you could, maybe you can't, depending on how extensive like that builder is. But and then you're spending all this extra money, and then maybe you need to hire a developer or something to even refine it exactly the way the mock-up is. But with the block editor, you get all of this directly out of the box, which is why building with WordPress was like our main priority. Was we knew the block editor was coming, and we even originally had ideas to create our own sort of builder to design and make these e-commerce blocks, but realizing that like, oh, we can leverage the block editor, and then we get all of these other dividends at the end of the day is a huge advantage for North Commerce and for you guys who are building these stores for clients. In the chat, let me know how many of you have even like messed around with the block editor, whether that's like the core block editor that comes directly out of the box on a WordPress install, or maybe you've used Cadence or Quickly or something like that. Anyone here? Let me know in the chat. So not only are we wanting to take advantage just of in general of like an easy to use e-commerce store where it's fast and you get everything you need directly out of the box, and you have the control to optimize even further. You'll also get all the control. You'll also get a ton of control when it comes to the block editor. And so I know, okay, Ethan's played with it a little bit. Awesome. It's a lot like, it's a lot like a simpler like Squarespace type editor if you use Squarespace. And really, I think the only big hurdle to learning the block editor is like just familiarizing yourself with like the fundamental blocks for layout. So like rows and groups and stacks and things like that. Um, and so that's sort of like where I feel we win really big when it comes to building e-commerce stores with WordPress is this new block editor. And so with North, directly out of the box, you get all of these features to create subscriptions and one-time products and payment plans and have coupons and then have like advanced coupons even where you can set rules based on like customer role, a specific type of customer, specific customer email, and specific products. And then when it comes to all of the other editing side, it'll be compatible with the block editor. So that'll be super nice. Any questions or thoughts so far before I jump to the next thing? Okay, perfect. Um, so one of the big things, whoops, pull my other stream up here so I can make sure it's working. Um, One of the other big things is going to be other builders, I think too. So like we are sort of like our goal and our main priority right now is going to be the block editor, and um, that's because we see a lot of potential with the block editor, but also it's a totally free option that comes with WordPress. And so that's kind of why block editor has been a major priority. I do see a lot of potential just in general too with it, so that we can create any layout, we can create any type of product page, any type of, we can set rules for different templates based on a product tag or category and all sorts of fun stuff. So we can do all of that with the block editor. And it's a free option. So everyone has the block editor available to them completely free right when they install WordPress. So that's a huge benefit for us and for the whole ecosystem, really. But I don't want to make it seem like we haven't thought about or are not planning anything for these other builders like the Beaver Builder, Bricks, Divi, Oxygen, or Breakdance. I know even Elegant Themes is coming out with a brand new version of Divi, and so we do have plans to build for those, or even support other developers who want to build modules for those other builders too, and we could help distribute those to everyone, and that would be awesome as well. So let me know in the chat if what builders you guys are using generally, like Divi, Beaver, Bricks, Oxygen, any of those. I know a lot of people in the community have been using use Beaver and Bricks. Kind of I think are the most popular, and I think like a close third would be Oxygen, and then let's see here, yeah, Oxygen, and then Elementor. I think is kind of the main ones. So yeah, I mean, any feedback would be great for like what is the most popular builders that are available inside of the community, and then we would focus those as a priority. Matej, Bricks, I know you've already even thought about some of the cool stuff we could do with query looping in Bricks. And then Nazim, O2 Bricks, yes, quickly integrated with Woo. I know they've been working on their integration for Woo for a while now, and it's been I haven't seen the official one yet, but I'll have to see how it looks. Okay, yeah, so two for Bricks, some Oxygen, and Quickly. I have a license for Quickly. I think they seem pretty good as well. Um, so that'll be a huge, that'll be a big, that'll also be a big feature to work on as well. And technically, right now, most builders are just hooking into the WooCommerce templates that exist. And so we could technically do that where it would be like, semi monolithic, but it would still be fully customizable, like natively in your builder. And I think that wouldn't take a whole lot of effort to do. Where like the template you get is this template here, right? And then you would be able to customize um, the fonts, the colors of the buttons, and things like that. But generally, this layout would be like the templated layout. But inside of your builder, you would be able to change colors and border radiuses and things like that. Same with like products. So you could have that, and then like even any of this stuff here, these templates for like grid views and stuff, you would have control over that. And maybe it's like, you have like different grids you want to different grid options. So like you have a 2 column row or a 3 column row or a 4 column row. You could adjust that inside the builder. So I mean, technically there is easy paths. I think that if they're demanded enough by paying users, then we could make that a priority. I know that's kind of like I guess we want to just get, if you're really anxious to have these modules inside of Oxygen or Bricks or something, and there's more of another builder, and they're pushing it harder. I know it kind of feels like you get left out, but I think that's kind of the best way to do it for now, is just take votes and go from there. And of course, you can do that. Like if you want to go to the change log and request feature request, you could do that, and you could even see like the most voted. And so we have like main core feature stuff, and I don't know if anyone's even added any builder stuff. Actually, it doesn't look like it. So this is where you would make a suggestion, and then people could go in and vote and say like, okay, like we have a huge Bricks community, let's do that. Um, and so I think that's where the ease of use will come too, is when you can build inside of a builder that you're familiar with and you like. I know a lot of you guys are super busy, and it's hard to learn a new tool. So like learning the block editor or learning a new block theme builder like Cadence or Quickly or something is just like it's a big undertaking, because you have to spend the time, and you have client work, and you have all this other stuff. So understandable. And so that we are thinking about that, and that's kind of like that's sort of the main thought, though, is like, let's use the templates so it's less implementation and it's a good starting point, and then whoever is like or whatever builder is the most popular or the most voted at the time, then we could work on that. Great. Any thoughts or questions? I'll give you guys a second. I know the stream sort of I think there's a small delay, so it's like I pause here for a minute for you guys to catch up to even hear my question, of any questions, and then it's quiet for a second. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions, I'll wait a minute, and then we can go from there. So you ask, will we be able to convert shop into catalog? What do you mean exactly by catalog? Do you mean like, for example, remove pricing, etc.? Oh, okay. So like, would this still be like on a specific page? Or are you wanting to like export this as like a literal like PDF catalog of sorts? Or what are your thoughts there? Azim, can't say much, I'm feeding kids. Well, good job taking care of those kids. So I suppose, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by catalog, but I guess if you wanted to render a list of products without prices or anything like that, you could totally do that. It would just be like, there might not even be links to like a product page. It might just be literally just a gallery of products that you have available on your store. Yeah, I suppose you could do that, and then just you'd render that list, um, and then oh, okay, so it would work similar to the shop, but instead of buy now, it would be get a quote or something else. Yes, so that's a good idea. So let's see if I can pull this picture up here. With our product block, we've added different buttons, and let's see here. Here's a sample image. And so we have all sorts of different product buttons here. So you have, classic add to cart, you have a view product, and then here's some other placeholder buttons as well. I suppose we could have one button that would be assigned to a product that could be like a get a quote or something. And then that would open up a modal to, submit information, or maybe like a form appears underneath the button where people could enter in their information, like their name and their email, and like maybe a brief description, or maybe a quantity of how much they want or something. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. That's like an interesting use case too. Like I wouldn't think you would want to do that, but there's a specific use case where like you might be selling like these bigger like enterprise type products or something, and you need to quote it specifically for a specific customer, and the sales process just starts that way versus just going through a checkout process. So yeah, so like you'd be able to do that. I think we could create like a quote, like a quote button, and that would have some sort of mechanism to like create an order for, like, that's like a free order technically, but it would just be more like a quote. So like it'd be like a draft order, and then you would contact the customer, and then you would complete the quote, and then add a price or add a one-time product or something, and then you would just send them like the invoice for that, and then they could pay on your website. So they could pay with like the single page checkout form could be linked to that, and then you have your little invoice page, and then you have the order ID set up, and boom, it's all good. So yeah, that's possible for sure. Once we finish, one of the things that's kind of like it hasn't gotten done, but it's just like a matter of just doing the UI for it, is the manual order creation. So once you have manual order creation, you can do like invoicing and quotes and things like that. So that'd be cool. So yeah, so we would have like, I think we would have like a get quote button. So that would, this is like the product page example, but I think you would also have that, you would have that available like here if you wanted to, like get a quote, and then a form would appear with an email or a phone number or whatever you decided you want. It would probably, yeah, I guess you would need to have the email at least to create the order, and then you would have which product they are wanting a quote on. So yeah, that'd be perfect. So it'd probably be like email, phone number, and then any other custom field you'd want for that order. Good question. We get requests like this a lot by wholesale businesses. It should also disable the cart, or a cart would work to save the quote in users' accounts. Yeah, so that's even a good example too. Is like someone could someone could submit to get a quote, and then after the quote was or after the submission for a quote was submitted, then it would redirect them to like maybe like an account page where they could create an account, and then in their little my account area, you would have like line items of like quotes that they've submitted, and then like the status of the quote. So like, under review or in progress, or it's been officially quoted, unpaid, or whatever, and then they could go in there and pay it, and they would get an email notification or something, and so that would be interesting. What type of wholesale businesses would that look like? Is that typically for in your particular case, like big like B2B sort of enterprise type stuff, or like you're wholesaling to like other vendors that sell like you know, like a specific set of things, and then this is like a side project, or like not a side project, but a side like item that they need to supplement their business. So yeah, and also like here's another thing too, like there's specific features that we might not have now, but if a client comes to you and we can quote what that feature would cost and work with you and that client to build out that store, then yeah, that's basically sponsoring a feature, and then we could include that in North Commerce. The client gets it and they're happy. We've all we negotiate a fair price, and that's wonderful with the client, and they're happy and they've agreed to it, and they get exactly what they're looking for, and then everyone in the North Commerce community also benefits from that because now they're able to use that feature, and so that's sort of the beauty of doing it that way. B2B mostly, for example, kitchen appliances, etc., selling to restaurants or smaller resellers. Oh, okay, so that's super cool. So like, so you would have that option, and then they would have their account. It would be just a beautiful, easy to use like UI, and then they'd have like, when the quote has been officially created, they would, click on Pay Now or whatever, and then it would redirect to like a single page checkout form on your website, and then boom, they'd pay it, and then you would just send out the product or whatever. It's cool. Yeah, I'm getting some messages in Discord about the link not working for in the email I sent. Website DK. Would it be possible somehow to synchronize warehouses between two North Commerce stores, two different domains, or more, one warehouse? Would it be possible to somehow synchronize warehouses? Yeah. So this is a great use case because when we start getting into fulfillment center stuff, like let's see if I can pull up an example. The answer to this is yes, for sure. Um, and when you say synchronized warehouses, like I'm assuming you mean I'm like the inventory that's available at that warehouse between two North Commerce stores. So what will happen is, sorry, I just had to spin up the dev site. But what will happen is you would have a shipping profile, right? So a shipping profile would be a warehouse where where your products are stored and delivered from. So this is where we calculate shipping rates. This is where we calculate, what products are available for specific shipping zones and all that stuff. Um, so a website, I guess maybe let me ask specific before I just get into like a random example of like how we would integrate with like a fulfillment center. Is this like a warehouse that you run? Do you use like a specific software right now to manage inventory or orders in general at the warehouse? Or what are you using specifically? But so basically, and I'll kind of talk while you reply. But basically, what will happen is, let's say you use a software and it's called, let's just say it's ShipStation. I don't know. It's just an easy one, and and all your products are synced with that specific software, um, and the inventories are synced with that software. Well, then those all that would automatically update inside of North via webhooks. That's a really easy implementation. And then on this domain, let's just say this is domain one, you would have that one warehouse, and you would have that integration linked to that same ShipStation account, and then you'd have another domain. So let's say domain two, you would have the same warehouse address here, the same zones or whatever, and then you would have that same ShipStation integration on that second domain as well, and both are synced. So the product, all the products are the same on this domain 2 and domain 1, and then the WordPress instance itself doesn't necessarily care about um, how much inventory is in the WordPress database. It cares about the inventory that is in the ShipStation database. And so both of those domains and stores can sync based off of that third-party data versus like the WordPress database itself. So that's sort of the answer if you're using a software that can track that is already tracking products and inventory. But if you're not using that, then like we would just have to come up with a custom solution. So like one of the stores is synced with like store 2 is synced with store 1's inventory database, in that side of the database. Or like we hit an endpoint on this second. It wouldn't be hard to do it honestly, because like you could just after every single like order placed on either site, you would just hit the endpoint to remove a line item or a quantity from that database. I make it sound trivial, but generally it would be pretty straightforward. But let me know, website, if you have like a specific software you use, and then that would be like kind of the answer to figure out from there. Yes, Shipmundo. Right now I have like 7 stores who all send orders to the same Shipmundo account, and I handle all orders from there. Same warehouse, but no sync on those stores at the moment. Yeah, so Shipmundo, I feel like I've heard of them. Let's see really quick. Yeah, I think Shipmundo is like ShipStation a little bit. Yeah, so you would have, let's see. As long as you should be able to sync products, because usually with these types of services you want to sync your products so that you can like get the weight of the product and everything, so that the order itself is like calculating the correct shipping rate. So yeah, so I think that would be the key, is to like have a Shipmundo integration, and you would just sync the inventory. So I just have to double check that you could do that. You should be able to in this type of software. So yeah, that's a good question. A great use case, like fulfillment's like one of the best or most important parts of your e-commerce store, and if you're working all in the same inventory, you don't want stores to like have a massive spike of traffic and they get all the orders, and then these other stores don't have inventory, or they're getting orders still. Okay. So good question. I'll save that here. I'm gonna put that in the Discord in the integration requests. Shipmundo. Look to see if products are synced and inventory. Good question. Good use case. What business though? I'm curious just to know, like in general, what businesses are, or why is there 7 stores using the same inventory? Is that like are you kind of drop shipping like a set of products for some people, or what does that look like? Exactly. Right now I have the issue that I sell products on a store which is not in stock because there's no sync. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean that would be a fun one we could look at. So, even if that's something that you want to, like, if you wanted to migrate those 7 stores over to North Commerce, and then we would develop a Shipmondo integration, and then have them all synced on that same Shipmondo account, then let's look into that. I think if there's no limitations with Shipmondo, like connecting multiple like domains or something to one Shipmondo account, then we shouldn't have any issues. Which I don't know why you would, because I think Shipmundo's pricing like even is based on like order volume. So like you'd want to have more than one. Um, you'd want more stores. Oh, there's no subscription or hidden fees. You're just paying per label. Oh, okay, that's cool. So yeah, I guess it would still be the same then. So if that's the case, they're even less strict, I bet. So yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, if that's something you'd want to do, I'd love to look at what you have on those stores, and then if you wanted to migrate those over to North, um, we create those integrations, and then your life is a lot easier. Let me know. Good questions. Okay, so I'm a little over my time. I have another call in 15 minutes. I got to get ready for, but I do want to give you guys kind of another chance to ask any questions or share any specific use cases with North. These have been some good questions. Everyone that's watching the replay of this too, if you have like specific use cases, or you're wanting to build a store, or you're talking with a client and you want to build a store, um, and you want to build with North, but you're like, I'm not really sure that North is ready yet for this kind of thing. It doesn't have this feature yet, or whatever. Shoot me an email or chat on the live chat northcommerce.com, and just let me know, and we can work together. Maybe we find have a media. Maybe the client sponsors the feature or whatever. But either way, I want to support you building that store, and so let's look into that. And I'm just noticing too now there's no live chat on northcommerce.com, but there should be. So I will fix that. Cool. Well, if there's any other questions, so I'll like give you guys like a minute or two for the stream to catch up, and if there's any last questions, I'd be happy to answer. But oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to say too, those watching the replay, if you have those specific cases, message me. If you just have ideas or whatever, you can go to the changelog on the northcommerce.com website, northcommerce.com/changelog, and you can request features and vote on those too. Like you can go and look, like click on it, and then you can like click on roadmap, or you can see like trending or most voted, and then vote on things that you think are also beneficial to you and your business. Or if you have new ideas, like make a suggestion, and that could be for a builder or a specific like Shipmundo. Like let's just add it, like Shipmundo integration. I want to send orders to Shipmundo, and I want to be able to sync product inventory across multiple stores from Shipmundo. So yeah, we'll have to just look at Shipmundo and see if it even has inventory. That could be good. So boom, there we go. So if you guys have any ideas there, then feel free to make a suggestion. I'd love to learn what you guys are wanting us to build. Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in today. Oh yeah, that's weird. Look at there's the chat, but on the homepage it's not there. Well, I bet you I know what's going on. Okay, I will look at that in a minute. But I appreciate everyone watching. If you're watching this replay and have questions or comments or thoughts, or you want to get a hold of me, you're always welcome to send me an email at hello@northplugins.com, or you can always shoot me a text. My number is always in every blog update for this. It's 480-573-7714. So shoot me a message. Okay, Shipmo doesn't have inventory. That's okay. We could always like send information back to each of those stores, and then update the inventory across all 7 stores. So we wouldn't do it through Shipmondo. We would just do it through our REST API. Okay, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in, and I appreciate this. I'll be on next week, the 19th, and then the following week, the 26th and the 2nd of August, I might be on, I might not be on. I'm going to Mexico for some family parties and events. But if I can get Starlink out there, I'll stream and give you guys updates. But for now, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later.